ஹோப்ஃபுல்லி வாய்ஸ் ஆடிபிளாக இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். இன்றைக்கி வீடியோவில் நம்ம என்ன பார்க்க போகிறோன்னா, வீடியோ இல்லை லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீமில் என்ன பார்க்க போகிறோன்னா, ஹவு டு கிரியேட் எ ஃபார் எவர் என்எஃப்டி கிஃப்ட் ஃபார் யுவர் லவ்டு ஒன்ஸ். உங்களுக்கு யாரையாச்சும் ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும்னா, உங்களுக்கு வந்து டிஜிட்டலாக இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் டு கிரியேட் எ கிஃப்ட் that can't be tampered or until blockchainல இருக்க அந்த லாஸ்ட் நோட் ரன் ஆகிற வரையும் உங்களோட கிஃப்ட்டு வந்து எவ்ரி பீஸ் ஆஃப் த ஹேஷ் எவ்ரி பிளாக் த கிஃப்ட் வில் பி இன்க்ளூடட். ஓகே, ஸோ அதை பற்றி தான் நம்ம இன்றைக்கி பேச போகிறோம். பிஃபோர் மூவிங் ஆன், லைக் இதை பற்றி பேசுகிற கோடிங் போகிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி let's speak like what is NFT, right? NFT na enna? NFT stands for non-fungible token, so which means it's not fungible. For example, நான் ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்லணும்னா, என்கிட்ட ஒரு 10 rupees இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கலாம். ஓகே, ஸோ என்கிட்ட ஒரு 10 rupees இருக்குது, உங்ககிட்ட ஒரு 10 rupees இருக்குது. at the end of the day உங்களோட 10 rupees என் 10 rupees எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிக்கலாம், ரைட்? பிகாஸ் இட்ஸ் ஃபஞ்சபிள். let me make sure like என் வாய்ஸ் ஒர்க் ஆகுதான்னு தெரியல. ஒரே நிமிஷம் நான் செக் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். வாய்ஸ் ஒர்க் ஆகுது. யா, அதான் நான் ஃபஞ்சபிள் பற்றி பேசிகிட்டு இருந்தேன். ஃபஞ்சபிள் டோக்கன் அண்ட் நான் ஃபஞ்சபிள் டோக்கன். ஃபஞ்சபிள் டோக்கன்னா விச் கேன் பி எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச். ஓகே, எவ்ரி பீஸ் ஆஃப் டோக்கன் ஹேஸ் த சேம் வேல்யூ. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் மொனேரோ காயின் இருக்குல்ல, ப்ரைவசி காயின், விச் இஸ் ஃபஞ்சபிள் டோக்கன்ஸ்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. when it comes to பிட்காயின், இட்ஸ் மோர் ஆர் லெஸ் ஃபஞ்சபிள் டோக்கன். அது ஒரு செப்பரேட் டாபிக், நம்ம இன்னொரு லைவில் பேசுகிறோம். பட் டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் பிட்வீன் ஃபஞ்சபிள் அண்ட் நான் ஃபஞ்சபிள் இஸ் every piece of token has its own value when it comes to non fungible, because அதுக்குன்னு ஒரு ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி இருக்கும். We'll go through like what is meant by metadata, how to initialize the metadata, அதை பற்றி நம்ம போகலாம். Fine, so this is the difference between fungible and non-fungible. Non-fungible means you can't exchange, like if you have two tokens which are non-fungible tokens, உங்களால் வந்து ரெண்டு டோக்கனையும் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் பண்ண முடியாது, பிகாஸ் ஈச் டோக்கன் ஹேஸ் இட்ஸ் ஓன் வேல்யூ, own unique trait or own unique property. So that's what non-fungible token. As of now, the most popular use case of non-fungible token is the digital art. Okay, a digital form of art. So there are websites like OpenSea. So OpenSea is a third-party marketplace where you can list the NFT, others can bid on the NFT and they can purchase the NFT. So பாப்புலர்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா போர்டு, பென்சி பெங்குயின்ஸ், கிரிப்டோ பங்க், இதெல்லாம் வந்து பாப்புலர் என்எஃப்டிஸ். ஸோ இன்றைக்கி நம்ம க்ரியேட் பண்ணுற என்எஃப்டியும் இட்ஸ் லைக் கோயிங் டு பி அன் ஆர்ட், ரைட்? whereas you can upload your own art as an NFT. You can mint your own art as an NFT. Fine. Okay, so let's go to like every NFT in Ethereum blockchain should follow a standard. When it comes to EVM, it should follow 721 ERC 721 ERC 721. So this is a standard that every NFT should follow when it comes to EVM. What is meant by standards? Standards are the list of functions or the list of interfaces that the ERC20 or ERC 721 tokens require. For example, ERC 721 na ERC 721 na அதோட ஃபங்க்ஷனாலிட்டி என்ன? ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஃபங்க்ஷன் இருக்கணும், ஓனர் ஆஃப் ஃபங்க்ஷன் இருக்கணும், டோக்கன் யூஆர்ஐ இருக்கணும், மின்ட் ஃபங்க்ஷன் இருக்கணும், சேஃப் மின்ட் இருக்கணும். இந்த மாதிரி லிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் பஞ்ச் ஆஃப் ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஷுட் பி இம்ப்ளிமெண்டட் when it comes to a token that follows certain standards. Fine, I have already loaded the code over here. So this is a contract, ரொம்ப simple contract. First we will go through line by line, and then we will deploy it, we will test it, and finally we will import the NFT into the MetaMask wallet, and we will see a real example. I am also going to open the IPFS to host the images. Fine. So the name of the contract is gift NFT, and it inherits two contracts, ERC 721 and also the ownable contract. So there are two mappings. One is for token ID to URI, and this is like specific to this contract. I need to encode a note, love note, into the contract. So I created this mapping between token ID and then the message and then the token counter. So initially inside the constructor we are assigning the token counter as 0, and as we know, like ERC 721, if you go to the constructor, it takes the name as well as symbol, so you have to pass it in the child contract. So in our case, the child contract is the gift NFT. We are going to pass the name and then the symbol, and the same wise, likewise, like the ownable contract also takes if you go into the constructor, it takes the initial owner, so you have to pass the initial owner, so that we are passing the message.sender. There are three main functions. One is the mint NFT function, which takes three parameters: the love node, which is used for updating this mapping, and then token URI. So token URI is very similar to URL, right? இப்போ நீங்கள் ஒரு வெப்சைட்டை நேவிகேட் பண்ணணுன்னா you have to enter the URL. Likewise, if you want to see the metadata for an NFT, you have to enter the URI, right? You will create an URI using IPFS CID, and then we will use this token URI while calling the mint NFT function. Also the two is going to be the address to whom you are going to mint the NFT. We are updating the state mapping, and we are minting the to address, and then the NFT ID. If you go into this function, you can find the token ID as a parameter. So every time we mint, we are going to increment the token counter, okay, so that we don't get duplicate NFTs. And then token URI. So this is a view function. So this is a view function which returns the URI that is corresponding to the token ID. If not, it's going to revert it. And this function requires only the owner to call this function. So maybe you can also put only owner modifier over here instead of the try catch. And then the update, this is very crucial function. So this is a soulbound NFT, which means like once the NFT is minted to an address, it can be transferred to any of the addresses. For example, if you see, we are overriding the update function from the ERC 721. Why? Whenever the from is 0, address 0, or the 2 is address 0, we are going to revert it. Fine. And then execute all other logic that is been included in the underscore update function in ERC 721 in the parent contract. Fine. And all these three functions are view functions, which is a getter function which returns the message, the owner of the ID, token ID, and then finally the counter, like the number of NFTs that's been minted till now. So this is a contract, very simple contract. We can compile it to check if it compiles. Next we can go to the test functionality. We have three users: user, owner, and other. So we have a sample URI. This is the token URI. Inside the setup function, we're going to prank the owner, deploy the contract, test name is correct, we are checking if the name is correct. We can also check whether the symbol is correct. Expected name is forever gift, so that's the name that we have given over here. So we're going to expect whether the expected name is same as actual name. So as both of these are string, we are just checking if the hash of both the strings are same. Let me first run this test function. Test case. Of course it passes. I'm going to clear this, and then let's move on to the second test case. Test mint with note. So this is the note that I am sending when I'm calling the minting function. So if you see over the contract, the mint function takes the two token URI and then the love notes. So this is going to be the love note that I'm going to send. So I'm going to prank the owner. Why? This is a only owner function. If I go into this, you can find it's a only owner function. So we have to prank before calling the function. Text the user to whom we are going to mint it, and then the token URI, and then the note that we have specified over here, and we are just checking once after everything is validated and the transaction goes through and the function gets executed, we're checking if the NFT is being minted to the user or not. So in our case, the get message returns the love note that we are attaching towards the mint NFT function. So we're going to check if both matches, and also we're going to check the owner of token ID 0 because the token counter starts with 0, right? So 0 is the first NFT that's been minted to the user. So we're going to check if the owner of the token 0, the first NFT is user, right? Because the user is the one that we are passing as a 2 parameter. So this is the second test case. And third test case, this reverts because we are trying to read the token URI as token URI. Wait a minute. Yeah, it should be only from the message.sender. So what if I prank pm.prank if I prank the owner nft.owner, will this pass? No need. It reverts. Token ID not found. So what if I do 0 once the user is minted with this note? Forge FMT to format the test. Again I'm going to run the test. Forge test dash is the function name. Compile failed. I have to also include the note. Okay, let me clear this. Format is once again. I'm going to run the script. Now it should pass. Yeah, it passes. So it requires the token should be minted before calling the token URI. So let me remove all this code and let me remove this. Now this functionality should work. Yeah, it passes fine. And then finally, as I told before, the underscore update function has been overridden. So if you see over here, underscore update, so this is a function that we are going to override. So which means like the user can't transfer their NFT once they are minted. For example, here pranking the owner, and then the user, we're passing the 2 as an user, and we're going to mint an NFT to the user, and the user tries to transfer to another user and we are getting a reward. The gift is a soul bounded and cannot be transferred. This is the same reward um, that we have defined inside the update function. So if I command p.soul, if I go to gift NFT, if I paste it, this is the same error message that we have initiated inside the file. I think everything is fine. Let me run the entire test script again. So I have also included the regression testing. What is the error I'm getting? So it's inside the integration testing. Gift NFT integration test. So this is the contract that we are facing here. One test case passes, one fails. Let me check what is that. So clear this, force test, /empty, space please, /vbb. So this is the one that fails. Why? What happens? Warner of 0 okay, now I get it. So inside the script we're using this address to mint it, but here we're checking with some other address. Let me paste it, let me clear this, rerun it. Asset failed. Okay, so the problem is the integration script does not matches. Let me copy this, maybe toggle wrap, copy this and go to .t.soul, integration.t.soul, command this, paste this, toggle wrap, format it. Now let me run this test. First, we have to make sure like what are the input parameters in the integration script should be same as the parameters that's been assigned inside the integration test script, right? So that's the problem. Now it should pass. Yeah, passes. Let me run the entire test script. Yeah, all the test passes. Fine. If you want, you can go through the integration testing. The testing passes done. Next we'll go to the deployment part, which is very important. Deploy gift NFT. It's very simple. Import the script, import the contract, inherit the script, and then inside the run we are going to broadcast the transaction. What transaction? We are going to deploy a new contract which is going to return us the address. Fine. It's right, and then the integration is also very important. Once after the contract has been deployed, so you're going to interact with the contract using the script. So what happens? Again, inside the run, you're going to get the most recently deployed gift NFT token or gift NFT token contract, and then we're going to pass the address of the contract to the mint NFT on the contract, which is going to broadcast the transaction. Inside the broadcast, we're going to call the mint NFT with all three parameters. Yeah, that's how it works. Fine. That's how it works. Uh, Maybe I can run a deploy script. Open a local blockchain. Uh, Inside the anvil, open a new tab. Go to readme, or else notes.md. I have the script to deploy. Uh, Here is the script. So you have to mention the RPC URL. So the default RPC URL for anvil is localhost 8545, and this is the private key, which is the 9th account of anvil. I'm going to broadcast it. I'm going to copy this, paste it over here. Now we are running .s.so. So this is the contract script that we ran right now. So this is the contract address. If I go back to note, you can also mint it. Maybe for the interaction I can provide a sample URI. Yeah. Yes. Now I can go back to the notes.nt. Now I'm going to interact with the newly deployed contract. Once after interacting, we'll check uh, whether the owner of the token ID 0 is the one that's been mentioned in the interaction contract or not. You can also see the anvil. It takes some time. Yeah, the transaction has successfully gone through. Now we're going to test whether the state has been updated or not. Since we already had the contract address, I'm going to paste it over here. Using the cast, we're going to call the owner of function. It should return us this address. This should be the same address as the user in the interaction script. Yeah, that's the same, hence verified. So that's how you have to you can create an NFT for your loved ones. The part that I have not covered in this live is I have not covered about how IPFS works and how metadata works. To be brief on this, first you have to decide what image are you going to make it as an NFT. Make sure the image is not very sensitive, because we're going to host it on a decentralized storage system, IPFS, interplanetary file system, where anyone can access your content if they have the content ID. As the contract is publicly available, you need the token URI to mint a token. So the token URI is also public parameters. So as a third person, I can easily access the URI. So make sure it's not too sensitive. This is again for the fun part, right? And then we have to upload this to the IPFS network. You can use the desktop application IPFS. You can download it. It is available in Mac, Windows, Linux, all the operating systems. So once you got the CID for the image that you have planning to create an NFT, you have to create a metadata. Let me show you the metadata. So it's a JSON format, JavaScript object notation. It should include the name, description, the image. So in this image, you have to place the IPFS link, which includes the CID of the image that you have uploaded to the IPFS. So it's a two-step process. First, you have to upload the image, get the CID, include the CID into the metadata, and again upload this metadata to the IPFS, and this is going to be the final token URI that you are going to pass it into the contract function to mint the NFT. And you have multiple traits. So these are the property that I have mentioned in the beginning of this stream. So yeah, I think I have covered most of it. uh, so hopefully this was useful for you. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Should I want to create any other contracts, or are you guys interested in actually, like, one interesting thing that is, once this NFT has been minted, uh, it can't be transferred, so it always sticks with the wallet that's been minted. And the second thing is, like, the blockchain is a series of uh, multiple previous block hashes, right? If you change maybe the second block, it changes or it breaks the verification till the last block, uh, till the present block. Why? Every block includes the previous hash. So by implementing this NFT, you are indirectly encoding uh, your uh, your NFT hash in every piece of block that's been included or added to the blockchain. So I think this is one of the greatest way to provide value or the gift to your loved ones. Um, Thank you for watching, and see you on the next stream. Bye.